Okay, this this video and others to follow is all about Nvidia 3D surround. You can see the setup. I've described it in an earlier couple of videos showing how to set up the three monitors which don't have a DisplayPort input with a GTX 970 card, and how you have to use an active display adapter. Within those two videos I showed some gameplay from Fallout 4 in 3D surround and from Elite Dangerous in 3D surround. With this series of videos I'm going to go through each game in turn and record the gameplay in side-by-side stereo. This means you'll be able to download it and play it with a stereo player. I'll leave notes on how to do that in case you don't know, assuming of course you do have a stereo setup, and you'll be able to see what I see as opposed to a couple of blurred images. If you're wondering what this is, it's the software for EDTracker. EDTracker is something else I want to demonstrate to you. It's a little gizmo for head tracking. It's available from a UK company. Just Google EDTracker. And what it does is allow you to head track, and unlike other similar devices, it doesn't work by using a sensor to the screen, to a point on the screen or the top of the screen. It's got a gimbal inside, so it's standalone. So here's the little matchbox thing, and what you have to do is to just stick it onto some sort of headband. I've tried various things like an Alice band or a cap, baseball cap. None of them seem to work for me, so I've pulled out a pair of old headphones. They're not particularly great quality, but they're not bad, and I need to get a new pair. Preferably wireless, because the EDTracker does have a USB lead, and the other lead of course means you've got two leads, which is a pain. I don't normally use headphones. I have a really good speaker system for 5.1, so I'll let the 5.1 in the speakers play, and I'll just use this to put the head tracker on my head. Just to show you what's going on here, I hope you can see this. Here's the head tracker software. Actually, I'll perhaps just zoom into that. Okay, you should be able to see that a little bit better. What the software does is allow you to set up various things like the scaling and the type of response, whether you want linear or exponential, and you also have to tell it which way around the device is connected to the top of your headband. But the main thing is, before each time you use it, you have to reset it in terms of centering, and that's very simple to do. You need to set the actual tracker horizontally. You should ideally place it on a level surface. I'm going to approximate here. If I had a decent pair of headphones with a docking station, this would be very easy. And then press a pre-programmed key, and that centers the device, and then you're ready to go. All you have to do is to minimize the software. Just show you what's happening with this. That's the idea. So we'll minimize the software and we'll boot up Elite Dangerous. 3D surround is on, and I'll show you how it works. That's just brilliant. It just sticks. I can put my hand around it. It's just so cool. Okay, here we are docked at a space station, and what I'm going to do now is just to turn on the head tracker. It's on now, so if I move my head, you can see what's going on. Brilliant. It really is cool. This is just the coolest of the cool. In 3D as well, it's just absolutely magnificent. Well, quite a span. I can turn all the way around, of course, and let's just launch it.
Landing gear retracted.
So you may recall that the last time I showed you this on the GTX 970 video, that there was a problem with the 3D in Elite Dangerous, namely the suns, which were split down the centre. As you can see, that sun is okay. There's now a fix by a gentleman called Andy, son of Bob. It's on the Helios website, and I'll give you a link to that later on, just to show you that the suns are okay. We'll just have a look at the galaxy map. And there we go. Well, everything's fine. So here you go. The rest of this video I will do in side by side, so that you can download it and actually see the stereo effect for yourself. The 3D fix, it doesn't just fix the suns, it provides a much greater depth of field, and everything's really improved. And the head tracker is just fantastic. And I'll show you what happens if I take a swig of beer. There you go. What more proof could you need that you're living in a real space simulation? Okay, over to the side by side. I'm recording now inside by side mode. If you're not watching this through a stereoscopic player, then you'll be able to see exactly what I'm seeing. This is Elite Dangerous, of course, and Elite Dangerous has a side-by-side and an anaglyph option in its graphics control panel. So the Nvidia 3D surround is not set on, it's off, and what I'm seeing here is the two stereoscopic images produced by Elite Dangerous without any outside help, as a side-by-side pair of images. When you watch this through a stereo player, of course, with the appropriate stereo system and 3D glasses, you will see stereo. I've guessed at the 3D settings on the Elite Dangerous menu. I hope it's going to be okay. But here we go. Let's see if we can play. There's partly a problem with doing this, of course, because I don't see it in 3D. I'm having to play it like this in order to get this side-by-side video made. Then I'm seeing these two images, and the only really way I can play the game without getting a severe migraine is to concentrate on one of the images. What happens when it does this? It takes the full width of the surround screen, of course, but because it's got the full actual 3-monitor surround in each half of the current setup, then the video is compressed. You can probably see from the rotating ship there that the video is compressed. So this actually helps me a little bit, because I can face the left-hand monitor, which is what I'm doing at the current time, and with a little bit of concentration and immersion in the game, ignore the right-hand image, and that means I'm allowed to play. So here we go. We're going to launch the ship, and what I thought I might do is to find a planetoid to land on, as I've done enough videos of me taking off and landing from space stations.
Ship released. Engines engaged. Landing gear retracted.
I'm only really a casual player, and therefore I'm not really that good. In fact, the last time I played Elite Dangerous is several weeks ago, and I've not done a planetary landing since, so I've probably forgotten what to do. But that should make it more fun, shouldn't it? Because I'm probably going to crash. So we're clear of the space station. Let's have a look and see what we can find in terms of a planetary system to go to. We'll actually stick with the current system and have a look and see if we can see a planetoid to land on. And here we go. So there's several. All of these can be selected. The ones with the blue icons. I'm here, so I'm going to have to go a little way to get to this. How about this one? That looks like it might be interesting, as it's got a purple sun. So we'll select that planetoid like that, and go for it. And I'm quite a way away.
Frameshift drive charging.
So it's going to take a little while to get there, but that's okay. I can edit the video.
2, 1, engage.
Alright, well, we should be able to land on this. We should. There's a penal colony over the horizon. We'll just keep it in sight. There she goes.
Orbital flight engaged.
Love these planetoids. They're all nice and lumpy. Okay, we're on glide. I'm probably too far away from my destination to actually get to the colony easily. See how far we glide for. Well, I've had to go back and redo this, hence the dissolve there at that point. I ran out of disk space and hadn't realised, so my screen recording software just cut out. I lost about 15-20 minutes of the recording. So we've gone back out into space again and come back in, and I'm going to try and repeat the experience. So we're on track for the penal colony, I think. Actually managed to get a bit closer this time. This commentary, of course, is now post-dialogue, so I'm not speaking as I'm actually doing this. I'm not using the the head tracker, it's almost impossible to do that when you're looking at a side-by-side video as I am now and concentrating on one of the two halves of the image, the left hand one. So any panning you see of the cockpit or anywhere else is due to the hat on the joystick. I love the sensation of gliding over the planet's surface. It's just so good. It turns a space simulator into an aircraft simulator, a flight simulator, really. I'm going to try and land here, it looks like. I've got the downward thrusters going. And it looks reasonably flat. The scanner's showing the ground, ship above the ground.
Landing gear deployed.
And I've reminded myself to do that. Whoa, and that's it. We're down. So quick look down, but we'll try and get the SRV going. Surface reconnaissance vehicle. And there's an interface for that down here. There it is. So all we have to do is deploy. I imagine that in future versions the fade out we get there will be eliminated and we'll get a continuous motion, which will be really, really cool, and I love that bit with the wheels. So we're down on the planetoid surface. Let's do a bit of driving around. You go quite fast in these things, and they can jump up and down a lot because of the surface. Just have a look with the external camera for a minute. It's very easy, as I've found, to lose your ship. Even the slightest undulation in the ground can hide it. In fact, it's almost disappeared there. You can still track it with your radar, of course, I think. Anyway. So we're about to approaching the Cobbler Mark IV from the outside, which is great to see the ship like that. The SRV jumps about a lot when you're going fast. I imagine it will be quite easy to tip it over. Panning backwards with the camera here, and when I go back to the SRV cockpit, I forget that I've engaged reverse throttle, as you'll see in a moment, and we go backwards instead of forwards. There we go. I don't know what I'm doing there. Honestly, it's because I've not played for so long. And the way I've got my joystick set up, which is perhaps not the best way. You perhaps saw earlier that you've got up thrusters on the SRV. You can just take off a short height, not go very high. And I'm on the way to the penal colony now, which is not too far away. You can just see it in the distance. And it looks like a pretty small place. Ships there, or at least maybe patrolling drones, so I'm not going to go too close in case they decide to attack me. We'll save that one for another day. So back to the Cobra, and we'll load the SRV back up just to complete this video. Hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you can see it properly in 3D, so you can get some idea of what I see on my system here. Oh, here's my ship. Getting back on is getting back in or boarding is very straightforward. You've just got to drive under the port. You've got to do it from the rear of the ship because of the front leg in the way. And I'm not sure that the orientation's too important. I think if you're at a slight angle anyway, it doesn't make any difference. Here we go. And just to get under it as best we can, and then look at the interface, and if it says board on it, we're good to go. And there we are. I guess that's a tractor beam. We'll just complete by taking off, which is dead simple. Just engage your upward thrusters.
Landing gear retracted.
Pull up your landing gear, and then use your joystick and normal forward thrust. You can tell by the HUD when it flips over that the planet's behind you, the planetoid is behind you.
Frameshift drive charging. Engage.
Okay, thank you for watching. See you on the next video.